This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
Get real.
No.
This
Just
is
stop.
a sham.
It's finally here. Drum roll.
Welcome to DBL. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Kind of screwed that up because it's not like any ordinary day here. You know what I mean? We usually have fun when we do the show and talk about things that are fun, but today we're going to start with something serious that everybody is talking about, and I think it's important we do talk about it. As the country tries to digest yet another school shooting, celebs are expressing their rage and sadness about the 3 students and 3 adults who were killed in Tennessee yesterday. So Leanne Rimes posted, "There are no words, just rage and heartbreak. I can't even fathom what this is doing to the psyches of every child and parent in this country." Olympian Shawn Johnson, who lives in Nashville, revealed her children's school was on lockdown, posting a video of a caravan of students from the shooting being taken to safety. Sheryl Crow responded to a tweet from a Tennessee senator saying, "If you are ready to assist, please pass sensible gun laws." And country singer Mickey Guyton posted, "As a mother, I'm pissed, the bleep off." I second that. Shame on every single politician okay with doing nothing as children are getting assassinated. But one of the most powerful comments came from reality star Niecy Nash. Let's watch.
In 1993, my only brother was killed on his high school campus because somebody brought a gun to school. It's 2023. And there's babies who will never make it home.
Yeah. I mean, it's almost like, it's like when you watch a movie so many times and then you kind of just get numb to it and you're like, oh, whatever. That's where we're at. And I mean, I had a reaction yesterday when I was at home in my kitchen and I saw that it was 9-year-olds, that there was 9-year-olds. It shouldn't matter. A life is a life. But one that hasn't lived yet. Right. And I had like a gasp out loud, you know, and I was by myself and I was like, when are we going to take a baby step towards solving this? That was 1993 that she's talking about. When are we going to take a baby step towards solving this? There's too much to say. There's too much to say, Sam. I know you're a parent, and I don't want to take away from anyone who's not a parent, but it hits a lot closer to home, and it's a matter of time, Sam, till it hits in our home.
You're right. In fact, when I dropped Sophie off, she's in kindergarten, to school today, I thought that very exact thought, unfortunately. And there's an image, it showed school buses earlier.
Yeah, I know.
There's an image of a little girl, looked about Sophie's age, that's gone viral, of her hand on the window, and she's screaming and crying. And that was taken yesterday as she was leaving the chaos of her school shooting. Thank God she survived. Will she be okay for the rest of her life? I'm not so sure. The 3 kids that did not make it home yesterday, yes, their lives are gone. So are their parents' lives. I don't care. You will not have a normal day in your life for the rest of your life. The 3 adults that showed up to work, like all of us did yesterday, planning what they're going to have for dinner, what they're going to do for the weekend, what they're going to do for Easter. Their lives are gone. Their families' lives gone. And you wonder why. When we don't agree on much in this country, do we? But we do agree on common sense gun legislation. The majority of Americans agree on common sense gun legislation, but the people that we elect are not looking at the best interests of their constituents. They're looking at their pockets. They care more about green, about money, about donations than our children's lives. And I'm not going to be helpless. I'm not going to be hopeless. I ask every single person to text ACT 644-33. That's just to your common sense gun legislation group. Every town, Moms Demand Action, bipartisan, Republicans and Democrats. It's time we stand up in numbers and we tell the people that we elected to protect our children.
And Sam, to counter that, because I don't know how this all gets political, and I want to hear your guys' opinion too, because it's a trans shooter, it's gun laws, you're on the way left or way right. Stop, man. These are kids. You know what I mean? This is where we're at. This is how ridiculous this sounds. I'd rather have my children take a chance with someone busting in their school with handguns, okay, than an assault-style weapon that was given to a crazy, insane person. I'd rather take my chances with the handgun. And hopefully by then the school itself, because Congress isn't acting, so hopefully the school districts itself, and you guys might not even agree with this, I hope they hire armed guards. One of my children's school has an armed guard, and and sorry, I almost swore there. I love that guy. And I see him and he intimidates me when I walk in.
Yeah.
So when something goes down, it's going down. And if that person doesn't have an assault style weapon with that dude, you better watch out.
Right. I mean,
sorry.
No.
You shouldn't be sorry.
Well, it would be weirder if you weren't passionate, Jeff. You know, back in the day, and this might seem like a weird tangent, but, you know, back when you used to try and get a rebate, like when you would get something on a cereal box, you'd have to cut it out and send it back, and they'd send it back to you. And the reason they didn't just give you the free coupon is because the second step is what most people won't do. And that's what we need with our gun legislation. If we just made it a little bit harder, just so that people had to do one more step, that would eliminate so many people. The reason these people are using AR-15s is because they can't shoot. They don't know how to use a regular gun. We are just handing people the only thing that a layperson can just stand and just spray with.
Yeah.
And that is why we don't have as many knife attacks or as physical hand-to-hand attacks, because these people are cowards. These people are so lazy, they wouldn't even take a second step to go get a gun elsewhere. But because we have fought to make it so that any person can get a gun, no questions asked, here we are. You try and dig a hole in your backyard for a pool. How many phone calls do you have to make to the city?
You try and take your kid. I was just talking to Megan, our producer. You try and take your kid to school. You got to get them vaccinations. You got to turn in their health records. You got to call their doctor. You got to do all these steps just to get your kids an education.
I can't even paint my house without permission.
Yeah.
But if I have a mental illness in my past, there's some loophole that's going to get me an AK-47. And keep your guns. No one wants. If you have an AK-47, keep it. Just stop manufacturing them for people who are mental. Police departments need them. Armies need them. Not mental people.
How did a person that young even have two of those guns?
Two of them were legal, and one wasn't. This is what I'll say. To Sam's point, to all of your points, they did take a baby step in 1993 after Niecy Nash. 1994 to 2004, we banned a federal ban with Republicans and Democrats assault weapons. What happened? Mass shootings went down 70%. 70%. It's that next step. You're absolutely right. If it's as easy as getting a chocolate ice cream, why wouldn't they go and do it? What I think is the first time in history millennials are outvoting, they're 18 and up, the baby boomers. There's more millennials now than baby boomers who vote. Vote them out.
But Tori, that's not
vote
it,
them
though.
out.
That is not it, because the vast majority of us, all ages, agree on common sense gun legislation. The people that we are electing, unfortunately, you're right that when it comes to elections, people turn up, and millennials tend to turn up more during the non-presidential elections. But when it comes to electing your state representatives, make sure that you are electing someone who is not in bed with the gun lobby.
It's exactly right.
I think we're really pie in the sky right now, because don't forget, this is why all this ties in. When you start talking about gerrymandering and carving up districts so that somebody like Marjorie Taylor Greene, who's on camera harassing David Hogg, telling him that Parkland was fake, that person has been
elected.
in Congress and is their number one fundraiser.
However,
so don't tell me, that that's somebody's going to change that.
Okay, but
so many people like her.
Boebert won our election by 546 votes or 564 votes. We can fix that.
Yes, we can
fix that. That's
Power
less than 1,000 people.
Yes, we can. Power in numbers.
And again,
yes, we can.
It's getting political, and I hate that, but that's where the conversation has to go to change. But it's like, who out there isn't saying, I have a kid, and you know what? I don't think anyone around him should have an assault rifle.
Because they have the NRA in their pocket. She's
I know,
100%
but if you keep that out for a second, okay, and not make it political, just say, I don't want some crazy kid in my school having an assault rifle. Forget about the politics. Forget about who's left wing or right wing. Forget about all the craziness. Why? You're saving lives. Why?
Yeah.
We'll be right back.
Somebody roll the clip. Let's make sure we have Jeff's sex tape.
Wow, things are getting spicy here at DBL.
Cold-hearted snake, look into his eyes.
Let's roll that again, everybody.
iHeartRadio thing.
Oh, we are
Just do the iHeartRadio.
Yeah.
So interesting.
We don't have really any updates.
During, we're having this conversation. My ex-wife just sent me a photo of my son with his best friend, and it's just like
Because it kind of ties in.
I don't know.
Chris, we could say.
BJ, I have goosebumps and I'm shaking and you can feel my heartbeat.
Kind of tied in, like, do you think
And I know that every single parent out there feels the same way. Because what makes Uvalde or there's so many, the Covenant School, what makes these schools different than my child's school? There's nothing different. Nothing different. So the fact that not only are our children already going through these drills, Sophie had her first lockdown drill a month ago, which is so weird, where they all go into a corner because she's kindergarten, so they have to do age appropriateness, suck on lollipops to be quiet, and push the bookshelves against the windows. So really, that's where we are. But I'm telling you, if you join Moms Demand Action or Everytown, this is not political, it's nonpartisan. I was sitting next to Republicans and Democrats, all with the same goal in mind. Not to take away your guns, I am a gun owner myself, but to enact common sense gun legislation, to have waiting periods, safe gun storage laws, bullets in one area, gun in another area, like they do in other countries, to have 30-day waiting periods, to please reenact the assault weapons ban that Tory talked about, that Clinton did. That will drastically reduce mass shootings, drastically.
All right, welcome back to DBL. That got heated, and understandably, but we're going to switch gears, but stay on the same page. Despite the horror from the Nashville shooting yesterday, the iHeartRadio Music Awards went on as planned last night, and host Lenny Kravitz paid tribute to the victims at the top of the show. Let's take a look.
Before we get started, I want to take a moment to send some of that healing love to the families of the innocent people that lost their lives at the Covenant School today, and to the entire Nashville community. Our hearts are heavy, and we are with you. Nashville, we love you. And America, we must do better.
So meanwhile, Pink took home the Icon Award and performed with Kelly Clarkson. Let's take a look.
We're not broken, just bent, and we can learn to love again. Empty ducks and rocks, I'll fix it for us. We're collecting dust, but I learned to know.
And Taylor Swift received the Innovator Award, giving some advice to the younger generation. Let's look.
I try as hard as I can not to fail, because it's embarrassing, but I do give myself permission to, and you should too. So go easy on yourselves and just make the right choices that feel right for you. And someday someone might think that you've been innovative.
So, Tori, do you think these awards should have went on as planned, despite what, we learned about in the morning?
If I say my first reaction is yes, and it's only because that community can come together. Nashville is a music city, a town, and that means a lot to them. And if you saw those country western stars when he said that, Lenny Kravitz, they had their hats off around their heart as he's speaking. I don't know why, but Lenny Kravitz just got me when he said, America, we have to do better. Yeah. We all know, we're not idiots.
I mean, but, there was a shooting at a country concert.
Right.
A mass shooting that we don't even talk about. We're talking about schools now, and let's lock our schools down. Jeff, you're lucky that your kid's school has an armed guard. Is there an armed guard at the grocery store that you go to? Is there an armed guard at the church that you go to? Because it's everywhere.
Yeah, I go to the North Shore. We can do something about it. Listen.
I know, but Sam, how do we unpack this?
I think people need to finally get up and act. Go to, I sound like a broken record.
Please.
Go to your local Moms Demand Action. I know I sound like I'm repeating myself. Your local Everytown, nonpartisan. Their whole goal is to enact common sense gun legislation. And they get stuff done every single quarter. Every single quarter. If we have enough parents out there or constituents out there that are outnumbering the gun lobby, we will sway them. We will save lives. We need to do something. Stop complaining. We need to stop acting helpless and hopeless, and we need to get up and we need to act.
I mean, we need to do something. I mean, that's not going to solve the problem, right? It will deter a lot of people, and I'm all for it. I'm all for it.
It will take away a lot of those mass shootings.
Of course. But people are like at home saying, taking away my guns doesn't solve the problem. We know it doesn't solve the problem. We need to solve mental health issues. We need to enact bigger red flag laws. We need to harshen the punishment for the shooter, for the people who commit these acts. There's multiple steps we could take.
Take one.
Take one.
Take one.
Just take one. You know what I mean?
Just take one of them.
It's like
we're crazy.
I'm a crazy person.
Yeah, sorry.
We'll be right back.
Ryan Kohberger is currently awaiting trial for the murders of 4 University of Idaho students. And some recent viral headlines suggest if convicted, he could be executed by firing squad. So is that true? Let's verify. Our sources: Idaho statutes, Idaho House Bill 186, the Idaho Department of Corrections, and the Death Penalty Information Center, a nonprofit group. We found that these headlines need context. The death penalty is legal in Idaho, although the prosecutors in Kohberger's case have yet to announce whether they'll seek it. According to state law, the primary method of execution is lethal injection. But lately, Idaho has had trouble getting the drugs they need for such executions. That's even caused a recent planned execution, Idaho's first in over a decade, to be canceled. As a result, one Idaho lawmaker proposed a bill to make the firing squad a legal form of execution in the state if lethal injection isn't viable. The bill overwhelmingly passed the state House and Senate, and just a few days ago, the governor signed it into law. It'll take effect on July 1st of this year and apply to all death row inmates. Idaho's only executed 3 people in the last 50 years, all by lethal injection. 8 more are on death row and have been for decades. In that time, only 3 people nationwide have been killed by firing squad, all of them in Utah. The new law makes Idaho just the 5th state where death by firing squad is legal. So while possible, Kohberger could face execution by firing squad, context is needed here. For that to happen, it would first require a conviction, a death sentence, and for the state to be unable to get the drugs necessary for lethal injection at the time of the execution, which could be years away. With your Verify, I'm Casey Decker.
Welcome back. 10 years ago, Natalie Levant began her career as a stand-up comic. She was 81 years old. Earlier, we chatted with her about it. Take a look.
Who am I? What the hell am I doing up here? And how old am I? I'm Natalie, Natasha for short, and I'm broke. I'm post, I don't have enough time, post-menopausal, and I hate kids and old people.
Please welcome to the show, Natalie!
Yeah, Natalie!
I just love it. I mean, from one stand-up to another. I have to ask you, I know what kind of motivated me to start stand-up. I was teaching middle school, and I was like, I need to figure out a way to get this out. So I have to ask you, why did you decide to do comedy at 81 years old?
Well, I didn't really decide. It just kind of happened. I didn't know what to do with myself after my husband passed away at 55 years of marriage. And I just didn't feel like I fit. And one day I was volunteering with another young person, actually a very young person. And whatever I was doing, he said, "You're funny." He said, "Why don't you go and see a friend of mine who's producing comedy shows this summer?" And for, lack of anything better to do, I went, and they laughed. And the rest is kind of history. They were so welcoming. Yes, I just felt a connection.
That's fantastic. The second I got up on the stand-up stage, I said, "Is this on?" I'm just kidding. But my question to you is, do you feel like you found your identity through comedy?
I feel as though my identity is shared by the crowd, by the people out there. There, like I just said, there is a connection. Gee, I have felt that way, and it's okay to feel that way. And there's just a comfort level.
Yeah.
And the people, the audience, they give me so much more than I could possibly give them.
I love this. In fact, when you close your sets, you tell the crowd to never know your place. What do you mean by that?
I mean, never know your place wherever you are. It's your place. Own it. It belongs to you. And look, if they don't make room for you, bring a folding chair.
Yes!
I love you.
That is unbelievable.
You are a person I want advice from, so please, let's start right now. What advice would you give for me, a stand-up comic, when I'm doing comedy at your age?
Oh, my goodness. Well, first of all, just keep standing up.
I got
That's half of it.
You know, I guess the basic. And my thing is honesty. Truly, if you're honest, if you get up there and you share and you are honest, they're going to hear you. They're going to be there for you. And if you're not honest, if you're trying to play with them or be somebody that you're not going to be funny.
Thank you so much for joining us today and sharing your story. We'll be right back. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mwah. Keep standing. Keep standing.
Before you roll up your sleeves to wage war with the weeds, you might want to give them another look because they could have the real dirt on what's going on in your garden. Digging in with these sources, we can verify, yes, weeds can serve a purpose in your yard. And we aren't just talking about attracting pollinators and wildlife or saving you time in trying to eradicate them.
Thinking about not so much about killing the weeds, but think about how to grow healthy turf grass.
The Permaculture Research Institute explains weeds are often a sign of something going on under the surface, in the soil. The Chicago Botanic Garden identifies some common weeds and what they could indicate. Clover thrives where there's not enough nitrogen in the soil. Chickweed is hardiest when there are too many nutrients, like when you've used too much fertilizer. Lawn ivy and violets may be a sign a patch of lawn is just too shady for grass. If you aren't quite sure what you're dealing with, UMD's Extension Office offers a plant identification tool on their website. It'll help you get to the real root of the issue. Sometimes it's really important to just get those weeds and other invasive species out.
I mean, the definition of a weed is a plant out of place.
Krista Kerrigan with the UMD Extension Office says it's especially important to remove weeds that could choke out flowers or vegetables, adding now's a good time to start hand pulling chickweed and dead nettle before they flower and spread their seeds. Keeping mowed lawns taller can help prevent crabgrass, and landscaping with liners and mulch can help prevent weeds from popping up at all. How can we get rid of weeds without using chemicals? Sometimes pouring boiling water on them works, like with weeds growing up in cracks. Otherwise, smothering them under cardboard or just pulling them up from the root is the best idea. It is important to know the type of weeds you're dealing with to know how to get rid of them, though, so check out that weed identifier tool. We have a link to that on our website. With your Verify, I'm Abby Larico.
President Joe Biden issued his first veto by blocking a bill that would have prevented retirement managers from considering environmental, social, and governance, or ESG factors, when making investment decisions. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy said the law would have protected Americans from advancing radical activism. One viewer contacted us at verifythis.com to ask what it means for their pension. So let's verify. Does President Biden's veto require retirement accounts to be invested in ESG funds? Our sources are the U.S. Department of Labor and the American Retirement Association. ESG is a scoring framework to help investors evaluate a company's sustainability and ethical impact. In 2020, the Trump administration enacted a Department of Labor rule that required retirement fund managers at private companies to make investment decisions based only on what will bring in the highest financial return. In January 2023, the Biden administration reversed that rule, permitting managers to consider ESG factors, but it's not mandatory. Congress passed a bill in March that would have made the Trump-era rule a law, but Biden vetoed it. This means after all of that, private sector retirement plan managers may consider ESG factors in their investment choices, but they aren't required to do so. So, no, Biden's veto does not require retirement accounts to be invested in ESG funds. With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis.
Welcome back. We've got some great products from our friends at MorningSave. Check them out.
Steph, I got my shopping shoes on. What do you have for us today?
Hey, Tori, and hi, DBL Nation. We are super excited to show you the deals today. And trust me, they are fabulous. Check out this. We've got the Housework Professional Blender with 2 travel bottles.
Ooh.
It's ideal for making smoothies and juices, and it's even powerful enough to grind nuts and coffee beans.
Ooh.
So normally it's $100.
I was waiting for that. Okay.
But we've got it for $49.99, so that's saving up to 50%.
Half off smoothie time.
Our next product today is the 2-pack Chana Throw blankets. This deal includes 2 blankets available in 3 different styles, and there are a variety of colors for you guys to choose from. Normally, these are $30 each.
That's not bad.
But we've got a 2-pack for $19.99. So that's saving up to 67%. Now check out this, Tori, this is fabulous. We've got the 3-pack Maidenform Flexi Smoothing Shaper with cool comfort. These shapers give generous coverage while remaining seamless under your clothes. Normally, they're $30 each. We've got 3 for $19.99. So that's saving 78%.
I will buy 18 of these.
Now, our last product today, Tori, is the 2-pack Idea Play Fast Charging Power Bank with wireless charging. This slim charger can charge up to 3 devices at a time. So normally this is $90. But we've got 2 for $39.99. So that's saving 56%.
That is unbelievable. Ooh, these are good, Steph. All right, guys, you know what to do. You're going to head on over to the MorningSave.com website to snag these amazing deals at the lowest prices, or you can even just scan that QR code. It's right on your screen. It's going to take you directly to these products Steph just showed you on MorningSave's website. Thank you so much, Steph.
Half off smoothie time, huh?
Yes, that was your signature call.
Look. Even Rob, the camera guy, was laughing. Half off smoothie time.
I wasn't going to play it up that much, but I was going to say it's good that we could laugh even on a day like this. And just, just a quick note before we go. I hope this doesn't just go to the wayside in 3 days, because there'll be another one, and then we'll forget about that one and move on to this one and say the same thing. We've been doing this for 6 years, saying the same thing. I don't know when the time's going to come, but you got to make some changes.
During the break, I signed up for ACT with Sam, so let's start doing stuff.
See you tomorrow.
Thank you. Good job, you guys.